The FCT Emergency Management Department has called on secondary schools in the FCT to set up disaster management clubs as part of efforts to include youngsters in disaster management activities. The Acting Director General of the Department, Engineer AbdulRahman Muhammed, made the call during a visit to some schools in FCT. Holina Adejoh tells us more.
As part of activities to mark the 2024 International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction in the nation's capital, the FCT Emergency Management Department has taken its campaign to some secondary schools in the FCT. Speaking during a visit to Government Secondary School Nyanya and Government Secondary School Karu, the Acting Director General, FCT Emergency Management Department, Engineer AbdulRahman Muhammed, represented by the Head of Forecasting, Response and Mitigation, Femd, Mr. Mark attributed the causes of flooding and other disasters to human activities which impact the environment, saying it is necessary to include youngsters in the campaign and secondary school is an appropriate environment to catch them young.
It will be impactful because disaster is everybody's business, and to catch them young, that's why we are in the school, to give them safety tips on the do's and don'ts of disaster management, to downscale it, for them to downscale it to their community, their homes, their parents, their younger ones, on how to mitigate some of this human-induced disaster.
Speaking further on the theme of this year's celebration, empowering the next generation for a resilient future, Mr. Nyam listed habits that could lead to flooding and other disasters. He advised the student on the proper habit and human conduct that can mitigate climate change and improve disaster management.
Disaster is nobody's friend. It doesn't respect when it happens. Like, you know, the flooding in FCT, there are urban flooding, which is flash flooding, that is happening due to some human-induced activity like dumping of refuse illegally on waterways.
In their separate remarks, Vice Principal Admin, Government Secondary School Nyanya and Government Secondary School Karu, expressed the commitment of the schools in setting up the clubs to equip the students with requisite knowledge to help during emergency.
We have learned from you, including the students, on some of the disasters that can occur in maybe communities or places. And from what we heard, they include earthquake, earth tremor, fire disaster, flooding, and the rest of them. And we have also been urged to form a disaster club, so that if such things occur around our environment, we should have the ability and the capability to overcome it.
By next time they're going to come here, that club will be in existence. And I have even volunteered because I'm interested in about disaster management. Because, you know, working with these children, I found that for the fact that are coming from different homes, there are things to abound. And with their presence, their expertise, we're able to control one or two things.
Some students promised to shun acts that could lead to disasters.
Today, I learned that disaster is a really serious accident and can occur at any time. And they also taught us that there are ways we can avoid it. Like, for example, whenever you want to cook, when you turn on the gas, do not turn it on and go and look for matches. You have to stay there with the matches, turn it on and light it immediately.
Let's say fighting may cause severe injuries, and it may also prove to suspensions in our school.
October 13th every year has been set aside by the United Nations to commemorate the International Day for Disaster Risk Reduction globally. Holina Adejoh, ASU Television News.